Lock or selective gear changing is a modern technique that can save time when changing speed in a car with a manual gearbox. In the past, drivers were taught to change down gears sequentially as they slowed their car down, primarily to avoid overheating their brakes. Now that modern cars have much better braking systems, we don't need to do this and can miss out gears at the appropriate time. This gives us more time to concentrate on the road ahead and to keep our hands on the steering wheel for longer. In this video, we will show how to block change gears and where it can be useful. Imagine we are driving at 40 miles per hour in fourth gear and need to slow down to 20 miles per hour as we approach a roundabout. We could change from fourth to third and then into second. Or we could block change directly from fourth gear into second gear and miss out third gear altogether, as it is not useful to us. Reducing unnecessary gear changes like this saves the driver time and can even reduce wear on the clutch and gearbox. As a general rule, we should use the brakes to reduce our speed before changing down to the most suitable gear for the lower speed. Block changing is most useful when we are slowing down quickly, as we might not have enough time to change through every gear sequentially. Braking from 70 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour when leaving a dual carriageway is a good example. And in this situation, it is much easier to change from fifth to second gear than change from fifth to fourth to third and finally to second gear. Notice how we let the engine revs reduce to almost idle speed before changing gear, and how we keep braking lightly during the gear change. To help second gear engage smoothly, we wait until the car has reached 20 miles per hour before lifting the clutch pedal up. Here we are cruising in fifth towards the 30 miles per hour limit. The easiest way to handle this is to brake the car down to 30 miles per hour before directly selecting third gear. The engine is flexible enough that there is no problem staying in fifth as we slow down. There would be no benefit in selecting fourth gear, so we miss it out and use third instead. This time we are driving at about 40 miles per hour in fourth gear towards a T-junction where we would like to turn right into the minor road. We anticipate we will need second gear for the junction, so we brake the car down to 20 miles per hour before selecting second directly. Selecting third gear would serve no purpose, so we miss it out. When leaving a dual carriageway, we will often have a reasonably short distance to change our speed before we approach the next junction. So if we can save a gear change or two, that would be beneficial. Our car has 6 gears, but changing from sixth to second can be difficult, so we prefer to do 2 block changes, from sixth to fourth, and then fourth to second. Using fourth in this way allows smoother gear changes, as it is easier to miss out 1 gear at a time than 3 in one go. To achieve a smooth gear change, we will need to ensure the car is at the correct speed for the selected gear, as this will mean the speed of the engine will match the speed of the wheels. To do this, we must understand the speed that best matches each gear, and this will vary from car to car depending on the set gearbox ratios. Our car has a diesel engine, and the gearbox has fairly long gear ratios for good economy. But if you are driving a petrol-engined car, then your gear ratios will probably be much shorter. You might need to experiment until you learn what speed suits each gear best. It might also be necessary to keep a light pressure on the foot brake while changing down to the lower gear. Lifting the clutch up a little slower than normal will also allow the gear to engage more slowly, which can help stop any annoying jerks. Another technique that experienced drivers use is called rev matching, but since we have covered this in another video, we have stuck to normal gear changes this time. Block gear changing is just another option for us to use when changing gear, and it can be used on the driving test if we choose to. If we are slowing down gently, since we have plenty of time, we might select every gear sequentially. However, when slowing down quickly, we would usually block change the gears as it saves time and effort. The examiner will not mind which way we choose to change gear, and there won't be any faults given if we do or don't block change. However, if the examiner feels that a poor use of gears has affected our ability to drive safely, then there could be a fault given for control use of gears. It is also possible to block change up the gearbox and miss out gears as we speed up. This is a far less common situation, and it does involve revving the engine to a much higher speed than normal, so we would use a lot more fuel than accelerating through each gear sequentially. Using every gear when accelerating keeps the engine at the most efficient speed and gives a good balance of power and economy. However, it sometimes makes sense to block change up if we need to accelerate hard before cruising, such as when joining a dual carriageway. Once we spot a safe gap to join the traffic flow, we accelerate quickly in third gear up to about 60 miles per hour before selecting fifth gear. Because we have driven much faster in third gear than normal, there was little point in using fourth gear, so we block changed directly into fifth gear. Just remember to look ahead and plan how to change speed, slow the car down with the brakes, select the best gear for the new speed, and engage the clutch gently for a smooth gear change. If you found this video interesting, then please click our logo to subscribe to our channel, as it really helps other people find our videos. If you would like to help support this channel, then please click the Patreon link to find out about our crowdfunding campaign. Thanks for watching.